Hey YouTubers, how's it going? Mike Martins here, Mike Martins channel. I got a really good article for the housing crisis I want to throw up. Speaking of housing, I'm on the balcony of my house that I bought out of town, and I'm doing a segment on my channel called Living the Dream. I encourage you guys to follow my channel on that because I want people to get out. Get out of the city. There's so much of a world out there. Ever since I've been here living in the small town of Merritt, aka Smallville. We're watching Smallville, and Smallville was filmed here, the TV series with pre-Superman, before Superman became fully moved to Metropolis. And this is Smallville. They filmed it here, a lot of it here. So anyways, I just wanted to throw up a really important article, I think, and then this is something I've been preaching about for a long time, and you guys know I've been preaching about this for a long time that have been following me for a long time. Anyways, here goes. It's by the National Post, and it's a really good article, so here goes. Huge windfall from new taxes highlights BC economy's dangerous dependence on real estate. Prices of both high-rise condos and single-family homes have hit a stratospheric, holy crap, that's a big word, stratospheric levels in Vancouver and nearby communities. On Thursday, the BC government announced it had raked up $2.2 billion in revenue from property transfer tax. That's huge! And 15% tax on foreign buyers of Metro Vancouver homes. That's $1 billion more than the government had projected. That enormous windfall caused Liberal MLAs to break out into spontaneous conga line through the legislature. Finance Minister Mike DeJong was forecasting a surplus of $1.94 billion, up from earlier projected of $264 million. He then announced that $500 million from property tax will fund a housing affordability program, and another $400 million would go into the BC Prosperity Fund as a legacy for future generations, he said. And this, for the cherry on top, the surplus allowed the government to scrape a planned 4% increase in medical service plan premiums. It wasn't as a tasty treat as an announcement to revamp or scrap the loathsome MSP entirely would have been, but it did make the medicine go down more easily. Overall, the windfall made BC the brightest light of the country's economic horizon, and those dire predictions of house impoverished millennials fleeing to Metro Vancouver and BC for cheaper housing prices, it hasn't happened. Net interprovincial immigration has increased year over year in the last 3 years. You go where the work is. So good news is all around. But DeJong's figures showed just how stark BC's economy dependence on real estate has become. Real estate-related taxes are now the government's single largest revenue generator. They not only outstrip the $1.2 billion gambling brings in, that's huge, which is pernicious enough, but also surpass the tax revenue individually from the forestry, mining, natural gas, and all other resource industries. Only when you combine the tax revenue from those resources industries do bring in more than real estate, just by a few decimal points. None of this takes into account the economic spin-offs that a hot real estate market generates. An angry public may chafe at the rising unaffordability of the market, and they may rightly grow livid. An influx of laundered monies, tax cheats, and real estate scammers or hapless enforcement agencies have proven either too inept or understaffed to catch. So basically, what my horrible reading is trying to say is that agencies are putting their best foot forward and figuring out, putting two to two together to find out what's really going on in the underlying effect of things. But the hot market also employs law-abiding builders, lawyers, renovators, car salesmen, airline employees, retailers, etc. Those jobs can't be ignored. Real estate's reach in this province and in this government bottom line is much longer than just a matter of tax revenue. The danger is not just the real estate has become a windfall for us. The danger is we have become dependent on it. You see what happened when Venezuela became dependent entirely on oil? Angola dependent entirely on oil. There's a lot of countries that are dependent on one booming thing, and then yeah. In the Friday afternoon seminar at the Hyatt Regency, sponsored by the Urban Development Institute, a panel of economists, lawyers, developers tried to answer the other questions. Would foreign buyers go elsewhere? Would prices fall dramatically if they did? And if prices plummeted, would they rebound in the long term? Quick answer is, the guess would be as good as yours. For the optimists, there was Helmut Pastrick, chief economist of Central Credit Union 1, who noted that the market had become weakened several months before the introduction of the 15% tax. But in August sales, the detached homes in some neighborhoods plunged $300,000 to $400,000, at which some audience members gasped. $300,000 to $400,000, that buys you 4 homes in Arizona. And that's just decline on one home here. However, Pastrick believed that any downturn would take 3 to 6 months to play out. Then, if the economy remained sound, and here he made a note in Metro Vancouver's 6% rise in employment, the usual market fundamentals would eventually come into play. Prices, he said, should begin to rise next year. In 2 or 3 years, he said, he expects them to surpass the present prices. So, I don't see this happening because prices are not, they're just going down. In the detached markets have been going down like really bad. You watch some of my older videos, I got links to them. Been going down huge percentages. His advice, prospective sellers caught in recent downturn waited out. If the economy doesn't go bad, where's the pressure to sell? That's a big if. Given the space real estate takes up in the BC economy, economist Tom Davidoff, associate professor with the University of BC Saunders School of Business, thought that there was a significant risk of a real correction. How much? 30, 40% Davidoff guessed? But he said was just that, a guess. Intangible factors that can't be measured would be at play. He said, a combination of uncertainty and pessimism. His colleague, Saunders School czar of Somerville, agreed. I think there's a real risk there is that if the stuff turns south enough and it affects employment levels, then things could get real rough because real estate is such a large part of the economy now. After the seminar, what was it that at Somerville called, so they called it a seminar, called the real estate tax revenue in BC, the governor's heroin. So I'm going to reread that last part here. What was Somerville called? The real estate tax revenue in BC, the government's heroin. So this article dates back to September 19, 2016. Now we see the downplay and the downturn of events where housing has been on a nosedive. Have the foreign investors left? Yes, they're in Toronto and Seattle and moving south to Portland. Yes, so they have left Vancouver. A majority have gone out to the outskirts to Langley, Cloverdale, Chilliwack. The other one there, the other town there, Kelowna. They're up in Kelowna. A lot of investors going up to Kelowna on buses, real estate buses. And then there's the other one there, Kamloops. Kamloops is pretty big too. Kamloops is skyline is changing big time. I was just up there last week, and I saw, follow me on the channel, you'll see different places I go to here in Canada and checking things out. I do a lot of cross-country drives across Canada, and I'm going to start doing vlogging different cities I meet, I get into, different places I see, and I'm very excited to, I don't know, just to be kind of free to see these things and see different parts of the country. The country is very beautiful. Canada is by far, I think, because it's got such a vast, it's so vast. So you get the most beautiful waterfalls because there's thousands of waterfalls to pick from. You get the most beautiful mountains because there's more mountains to pick from. Better, different landscapes. Got the most beautiful lakes in Canada because there's more lakes to choose from, as opposed to smaller countries that have very little to no lakes or very little to no mountains. Canada's got an abundance of everything, and this country needs to have some sort of a correction within its parliament, or something's got to be corrected, because not being able to buy a home in the country you love so much, it must break a lot of people's hearts. You know what I'm saying? I kind of took a step back and reassessed my situation, and I kind of looked at, I called a spade a spade. I'm not going to change anything. Yeah, I'm making videos, I'm creating awareness, maybe getting people to talk, maybe getting people to comment below and make some sort of a contribution by commenting or kind of expressing what they feel. But I called a spade a spade. I took a step back. I looked at the situation, and I said, you know what? I want to live this life. I want the country life. I want to raise my kids in a country life, in the country life like this. I want them to be in Canada. This is Canada proper. This is like Canada proper. It's like, it's very Canadian here, and this is what I want for my kids. I want them to see this part, of Canada, or be exposed to it like I did when I was a kid, And it means a lot to me that my kids get raised properly, and it means a lot to me that, I don't know. Maybe I'll make a video, if you guys like, let me know. Top 10 reasons why I left Vancouver. I won't be so negative about it. I won't be a negative bug. I'll be more kind of more explanatory of why I left the big city, and why I think in my heart living in a big city is really a scam. I really think it's a scam. Because everywhere you go here, there's help wanted signs, everywhere. And it's not just in fast food. I mean, everywhere is hiring. And I was shocked. I was very shocked when I got here and I saw that. Anyways, guys, leave your comments below. Oh, yeah, let me know what you guys think of my new patio. I got my patio set in from Vancouver that was in my backyard. I set it up here. Look how much space I got. I got lots of space, and I got this little section here to go inside from that screen door, and I got that section there from the screen door. And yeah, it's looking good, and everyone looks out for each other here. Everyone here looks out for each other's homes. There's people looking out for each other, and I like it a lot. Anyways, comment below. Let me know what you guys think, and have a good one, guys.